having your mind challenged by problems and solving them scientifically is something that you find fascinating, enjoyable, and you will do that for the rest of your life. Dumelang makweni ko gae, dumelang makweni ko gae. Current viewers. So today we are clearing misconceptions, right? It's that time of the semester where my first year Bachelor of Science they're eager, really getting to prepare for the with the interview, and being called and all those excitement and fear and everything like that. And there's a lot of recurring questions that I've been having about interviews, in particular interviews. I get the reason being that we hear stories. I know so and so when at GP I failed to interview and they didn't get called to medicine in everything that. How do we go about to pass the interview? Right? Thank you. This is what the video of today is all about. Getting to the nitty-gritties, right? Because the thing is, we can say a lot of things. We can say a lot of things, but it's all about understanding the core of medicine. It's all about understanding the core of medicine, right? What it is all about in that regard, right? First of all, medicine is a science. Hence why our pre-med in Botswana is particularly having to do sciences. In general, if I might put it that way, A-levels, Bachelor of Science, Buang, wherever you are, you know your pre-med encompasses you doing what? Sciences, right? As a sciences. But being good at sciences and being fascinated by sciences are two things that are not the same. Are not the same at all, right? Getting into an examination and being faced with a math problem and writing it down and solving it, and you go about your day, and then a person who gets, oh shit, this is a math problem, thank God, let me solve this. It's not the same thing. And many times in interviews, particularly when you get to be asked a question like, why did you choose, or why medicine, right? We like answering it in the context of how we feel about it. I love the idea of saving lives and everything like that. And if at all we're going to be factual, that's a vague answer, because a lot of professions in the world do deal with saving lives, right? We have lawyers who have to get people justice and save people from death rows. That's saving lives, right? We have people like nurses, the paramedics and everything. You could have been either one of those if we were talking about saving lives, right? So why medicine? That's the question you're asked, and you shouldn't get there and answer, no, I love saving lives. Like I said, it's a vague answer. We need substance, we need concrete. And I started by explaining that being fascinated by sciences and knowing sciences are two different things. The fact that you pass sciences to be able to sit for that interview, and because you know it, as opposed to a person who's fascinated by it, is totally different, right? Medicine, first and foremost, is a sciences. It's a sciences, whatever. It's a science, right? And what is a science? Science is like an articulation of having to solve problems that are to do with day-to-day lives. In scientific measures, if at all I may put it in a layman's understanding, right? So you should be faced with a problem and solve it in a scientific way. And what better way to choose a person to get into that field and to choose a person who's fascinated by the idea of using science to solve problems? So how do you answer that question when it's posed to you? As opposed to say, oh, I love saving lives, you can say, I am a problem solver and I'm fascinated by the idea of applying my scientific abilities that I'm very much excited about in the idea of saving people's lives. You see, you get the difference, as opposed to just saying, oh, I love the idea of saving people's lives and I decided to choose medicine. to be able to save people's lives. Like I said, a lot of professions save lives. You don't have to be in medicine to save lives. Do that make sense? Hey, when you get into medicine here, you have to be fascinated by the sciences. And your answer to your questions should rely upon the fact that you are fascinated by the sciences, because medicine on its own is a science. Without science, you cannot get to a point of solving problems in medicine. You need to be excited about the sciences to be excited about medicine. So they pick a person or they just love the idea. On the idea, they don't even know what the idea is all about. Sometimes now, in an interview, we talk about, oh, cool. Okay, out of all the people, 100, 200 shortlisted people that were called for this interview, this person, the reason why I'm gonna take them over this person is because of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What makes you different? Because how long time what am I in you? Because I'm probably some of are not going to watch this video. People are going to sit there and start saying they love saving lives. I love saving lives. Like, you can be a police officer. Police officers save lives every day. You know, you get what I mean? Like, do you get where I'm going with this? Soldiers save lives every day. The president saves lives too. Like, he pardons people from death row. That's saving lives. So what do you mean when you say you want to come to medicine to save lives? What do you mean? And that's just what you mean, because it's a science. Huh? I'm interested in applying my scientific abilities. I'm interested in applying my scientific abilities to be able to save lives. Because ultimately that's why we are here, right? That's the integrities of what medicine as a hallmark is all about. We want to save lives. But what do you mean you want to save lives? I mean, don't be vague in answering that question. Don't be vague. You'll make it. You make it through the interview, and then you add working hard under pressure and everything. But the thing about being fascinated by the sciences is that all those other things, they come with it. Like, you end up falling into that. Because how a scientific person, I know you know that, like, you enjoy the work. You enjoy working under that pressure. You know, it's not the fact that you are able to, but the fact that, like, you enjoy being under the pressure, like having your mind challenged by problems and solving them scientifically is something that you find fascinating, enjoyable, and you will do that for the rest of your life. We are answering questions, a lot of questions. We're not just answering why medicine right now, we're answering a lot of questions that would come. Why you how gametse go stwe ga go zile interview ba bangwe ba ntse ba le mo line go nana go te mme yana go hana sentse re hela ka le 80 and you get at 200. Why I'm 7? And out of those 200 people, every one of them is going to come with the line of, I'm in medicine because I want to save lives. I'm in medicine because I want to save lives, which is true for people, but it's cliche. And nobody wants to sit down and listen to you being cliche, acting like, oh, I'm Mother Teresa, like, oh, no, it's cliche, right? And nobody's interested in cliche. Make what you're going to say interesting to listen to. Make a statement. You know, I've always been fascinated by the idea of problem solving. And well vested in my scientific abilities to apply them in the context of solving problems. And in this regard, I am quite fascinated. Keyword, fascinated. But when I was 12 years old I saw this and I felt helpless. I couldn't do anything, and I just wanted to get to a point where you know, all these stories, because we all have unique individual stories. You all wanted to be a doctor in primary school. They saw something, they watched Gifted Hands, they wanted to be a doctor. You can lay out the story on top of that foundation, because the hallmark of it is understanding the fact that medicine is a science, and you need to apply the science to be able to get what you are ultimately gunning for, and that's saving lives. Hey, ke yone kgang ya rona ya la gompieno gore re tlhaloganye kgang yona. So when you come here and I will probably share some questions with you, I'll try to look for some of which could be asked, because it's been a while since, you know, and share them on this platform. But ultimately, we have to understand that re wela go gongwe, and go gongwe gone go ke gone go understanding the fact that medicine is a science, and you need to talk to it in the context of it being that science. And that's what scientists who are conducting the interview want to hear from you, want to hear how you are interested in our science. On subscribe, I want to share, I want to don't gatekeep. Don't gatekeep. Don't gatekeep. Share this video with your colleagues and subscribe. Share with your friends, share with your cousins, and subscribe and like. Comment what you want me to talk about in the future. Also, Siapambili, we're moving.